Driving a tractor, climbing a tree, you can find it all at Cotton Top 3.
So I want to talk about something that I've been asked about and people have mentioned in the comments quite a few times when I'm out here bush hogging on this open cab tractor. Been a lot of people talk about yellow jackets and wasps and bees and hornets and stuff like that, and sometimes they talk like I may have not have never been in them, or I wouldn't be on this open cab tractor like this. Well, that's not the case. I have been in all of those many times over the years, and I have been smoked down on a tractor by yellow jackets and bumblebees, and even got in some hornets before on multiple occasions. I've never been stung by a hornet though. I have been by yellow jackets are the worst, by far the worst. Bumblebees, they're pretty bad too because they build their nest in the ground, but in my opinion the yellow jacket hurts a lot worse than a bumblebee does. It doesn't bother me. The last time I got stung just five times in the face. For some reason, anytime you run over them, they go for your face. I don't know what the deal is with that, but they go for your face. And I just deal with it and go on with it. I'll give you a little story time video here right quick too. Something that happened to me when I was still in high school. We had cows. We had a bunch of cows when I was a kid, and so we raked and baled a lot of hay every summer. And one day I had cut a hay field, and everything we had was, here's stuff buzzing, but I had ran over a bumblebee nest while I was mowing a hayfield on an open cab 5000 Ford tractor, and they didn't get me or anything. We went back a couple of days later to rake the field, and I was on a John Deere 820 John Deere open cab tractor. Dad was baling behind me, but he wasn't at the field yet. I had already done raked a field or two ahead of him, so I dove off in this field, and this bumblebee nest was in the first about 3 rounds or so of the field. And I went around it, and I hit the nest, and I stirred them up again. So I was using a roller bar rake, so I would go around the field twice, and then I would come back going the opposite way, and that would complete my windrow, and then I would turn back around and then go around it twice more and then come backwards in it to make my windrow. So I had made a pass, run through them, got them stirred up. I came around, ran through them again, had them stirred up again. Well, the next time that I come through to make my third pass, I didn't get so lucky that time. When I got to them, they were already swarming really bad, and I was raking hay behind the church that I go to, and probably a 10-acre field at that time, maybe something like that. Well, I had that tractor, that 820, had a foot throttle on it, but it also had a hand throttle, so I had that hand throttle pulled down on it, basically like on cruise control, and I was running like in the medium range, in 3rd or 4th gear in the medium range. So I mean, I'm clicking along probably about 10 miles an hour or so, something like that. Well, as I got up there, those dang bees, man, they swarmed me like they wasn't no tomorrow. I mean, and for some reason, I don't know why I did it. I had that hand throttle pulled back on that tractor, and of course those roller bar rakes are a fair amount wider than the tractor is. Those bees just were swarming me, and I didn't even think about it. I jumped off that tractor. Don't ask me why I did that. I have no idea. That was probably the stupidest thing I've ever done in my life. One of them. I've done a bunch of stupid things, but that one was pretty high up. Luckily, when I jumped far enough to where I jumped outside the rake. The rake did not hit me. Of course, I hit the ground, rolled a bunch of times. Well, when I looked up, the bees were still all over me. They were all over me. And when I looked up, the tractor was still going. It was going straight to the cemetery. And I thought, there was a chain link fence before it got to the cemetery, and I said, man, it's finna run through that fence and it's fixing to knock tombstones over. This is finna be one major mess. But the tractor kind of veered just to the hill. The field was kind of on a little bit of a slope, and it kind of got the tractor kind of veering just a little bit. And then the tractor went straight up into a massive hedgerow along a fence row right there. Well, it went up in there and it rode up that privet hedge and sent that tractor kind of up. It stuck that front end up enough, but it went up in there fast enough that when it kind of lifted the back tires just enough to where it wouldn't go anywhere, but it's sitting there running wide open, spinning like crazy. So I got the bees off of me. I ran over there. The tires running wide open over here. I just reach up there and turn the key off to kill the tractor. Bees are still, as I get back there, they're still attacking me like crazy. So Dad hadn't made it to the field yet, thank God. So everything kind of got settled down, and you couldn't see me where I was because of the way the crown of the field was. So I got back up on the tractor, cranked it back up, and put in reverse, and I held down, wasn't a four-wheel drive, I held down the differential lock on it to where it would make both tires positive to back up, and I eased off the clutch real slow to kind of creep it, just hoping that the tires would bite enough to where it would back out of there, and it did. It backed out. But the problem was when I backed out, one of the tires, I could hear air coming out of it. And so I backed out. There was a hole there where I went up into them bushes, and I took that privet hedge and folded it back to where Daddy couldn't see that hole where I did that. And so Dad got there, and the tire was about flat when he got there, and of course, he said, reckon what happened to that tire? I was like, heck if I know, I don't know. And I went ahead and I had the field finished, right at finish time he got there, tires flat, and I told him, I said, there's a bumblebee nest right over there, but I think it was either second or third windrow. I said, just watch out for it when you go over there. So luckily that tractor did not go through that cemetery, because it's a big cemetery. I guess a word, no matter what you're doing on what you're on, whether it's a tractor, a piece of equipment, or anything like that, never evacuate your operator station until you've got that thing knocked out of gear or something, because they could have ended so much differently for me. That rake could have hit me. I could have broke my neck or back when I hit the ground, because I was doing about 10, but of course, at that time, when you're real young like that, I was probably at that time 15, 16, maybe something like that. You can take licks like that and it doesn't bother you too bad, and that may be some of the crap that I did way back may be some of the reasons why I have trouble with my neck and back now that I do. I don't know, but anybody that's watching this, I would advise you is to stay with the machine, especially in a rollover situation. You can't out jump the machines. I've never tried to jump from one when it rolls over, because you cannot jump far enough. They reach out further than what you realize they're gonna reach, and they will crush you when you hit the ground. They will land right on top of you and crush you. So I just wanted to tell that story time right there of that and my stupidity. And I've done a lot of other stupid stuff over the years that really I should not even be here and talking to y'all right now. So I'm gonna get back busy and knock the rest of the stuff out, get my trails bush hogged, and I may film some more.